In lecture number 2, we discussed about the male reproductive system. In that lecture, we covered about the main part, that is testis, which is a primary sex organ which produces sperms, and that testis is protected in a sac. The sac is called scrotal sac. Everything about testis and the scrotal sac we discussed. Now in today's lecture, we will discuss about the axillary ducts, axillary glands and their functions. So let's start our class today. So we'll start with accessory ducts. Now, axillary ducts in the male reproductive system include, first one is retitestis. We have seen in the previous lecture that testis is divided into, each testis is divided into 250 compartments. The compartments are called testicular lobules. In each lobule, 1 or 2 or 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules will be there. Seminiferous tubules are the places where spermatogenesis happens. Sperms are produced. That sperms come out through the seminiferous tubules into the accessory ducts. Who is the first part receiving the sperms from the seminiferous tubule? Means it is retitestis. So what is the first accessory duct? It is retitestis. This is the first accessory duct. Now here the retitestis will be there. So I told you, what will the retitestis do? Retitestis will receive the sperms from the seminiferous tubules. It is an irregular network. It's an irregular tubular network, right? It is an irregular tubular network. Then this retitestis opens into the next part, that is called vas efferentia. So the second accessory duct will be vasa efferentia. Now we told from the seminiferous tubules the sperms are coming into retitestis. From retitestis the sperms will be sent into vasa efferentia. So these are the vasa efferentia. 10 to 20 vasa efferentia tubes will be there. So these vasa efferentia tubes will join to the third duct. Now what is that third duct called? Epididymis. So understood, children? Seminiferous tubules will produce the sperms. From there the sperms will be released to the retitestis, which is a duct. Retitestis will take the sperms and it will release to the next part called vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia will, for what is this? The 10 to 20 tubules. 10 to 20 tubules of vasa efferentia, they open into the next duct. What is the next duct called? I told it is epididymis. And this epididymis, it is posterior to the testis. Epididymis, where it is? It is posterior to the testis. Behind the testis it is present. And this epididymis has 3 parts. When we draw like this, so on the posterior side we draw this epididymis, right? We draw this epididymis. So this epididymis has 3 parts. The first part is called as head. The middle part is called as body. And the last part is called as tail. So it has 3 parts. The first part is the head region of the epididymis. The next one is a body region. And the third one is a tail region. So head is called as caput epididymis. Body is called as corpus epididymis. Tail is called as cauda epididymis. So head is called caput epididymis. Body is called corpus epididymis. Tail means cauda only, right? So tail is called cauda epididymis. So all the vast different tubes will open into the head. What is the head called? Caput epididymis. Then it will open into the body. What is the body called? Corpus epididymis. Body will lead into tail. What is the tail called? Cauda epididymis, right? Now, what is this epididymis made of? If you remember structural organization, animal tissue, there we will tell like epididymis is made up of pseudostratified epithelium, and it is glandular, it secretes nourishment, the sperm is stored in the epididymis, the sperm gets maturity, the sperm gets motility in the epididymis only. Come on, what is epididymis? Epididymis is a highly coiled tube of 6 meters long. What is epididymis? This epididymis is highly coiled tube of 6 meters long. It's a highly coiled tube of 6 meters long made up of pseudostratified epithelium. This they will ask you in the NEET examinations. Epididymis is made up of, it is made up of pseudostratified epithelium. It is made up of pseudostratified epithelium. So, the pseudostratified epithelium is glandular, children. I am telling it is glandular, means it secretes. What does it secretes? It gives nourishment. The secretions will provide nourishment. They provide nourishment to the sperms. Sperms are coming from the seminiferous tubule into the retitestis, into the vas efferentia, into this highly coiled tubule called epididymis. Now, in epididymis, we are telling the sperms are stored. Sperms are temporarily stored here. When the sperms are getting stored here, they take their nourishment from these fluids and they attain physiological maturity. They attain motility also. Sperms attain physiological maturity here, and the sperms attain motility also. Since they are mature, they can move. So, motility, they learn how to move in epididymis. Where are they matured? In the epididymis. Where are they temporarily stored? In the epididymis, right? Now, this epididymis leads to a tube which goes into the abdomen. That tube is called vas deferens, right? So, this epididymis leads to the fourth duct. What is that called? Vas deferens. So, I told axillary ducts, there are 4 ducts. The first one, retitestis, opens into efferentia, opens into epididymis. What is the fourth one called? The fourth one is called vas deferens. Vas deferens is also called as sperm duct. So, vas deferens is also called sperm duct because it is taking the sperms, and the vas deferens goes into the abdomen through inguinal canals. The vas deferens passes into abdomen, children. It goes into abdomen through, how does it goes? There is a canal, right? What is it called? Through inguinal canals. Now, you have seen here, this is a vas deferens. It is going into the abdomen. After going into the abdomen, this is a urinary bladder. Now, it takes a loop around the urinary bladder. What do you mean by loop? So, this is a urinary bladder. It came, it takes a turn, a complete turn it takes. It takes a loop around the urinary bladder. Vas deferens, it is also called sperm duct. It passes through the abdomen, it goes into the abdomen through the inguinal canals, and it takes a loop around the urinary bladder. It takes loop around the urinary bladder. It takes a loop around the urinary bladder. There, at the urinary bladder, it will see axillary gland. The leaf-shaped axillary gland is called seminal vesicle. So, seminal vesicle duct and the vas deferens duct will combine. Seminal vesicle duct and the vas deferens duct will combine to make an ejaculatory duct. Now, see, this is a vas deferens. It is taking a loop around the urinary bladder and it is coming down. So, when it is descending down, it met another gland. So, this leaf-like gland, saccular, glandular structure is called as seminal vesicle. So, the seminal vesicle duct and the vas deferens duct will join to make an ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct of one side, ejaculatory duct of another side will combine to make a common ejaculatory duct. Understood? So it takes a loop around the urinary bladder and combines with seminal vesicle duct. It combines with the seminal vesicle duct to form, what does it form? Ejaculatory duct. It forms an ejaculatory duct. So quickly let us see what did we discuss till now. So in this session we are going to talk about the accessory ducts and accessory glands. There are 4 accessory ducts in the male reproductive system. Retitestis, next one is efferentia, epididymis and deferens. Now some seminiferous tubules where the sperms are made, they will be released into the first duct called retitestis. Retitestis will send it into efferentia. Efferentia will send the sperms out of the testis into a cap-like structure, into a highly coiled structure which is behind the testis. What is that called? Epididymis. It is 6 meters long coiled tubule. Now this epididymis is made up of pseudo-stratified epithelium. It is secretory. It secretes nutritive tissue. Eating this nutrition, the sperms will store there. The sperms will reach physiological maturity. The sperms attain their motility. From there, the sperms will go into another structure, sperm duct, which is called as vas deferens. This vas deferens ascends into the abdomen. It reaches the inguinal canal. Through the inguinal canals, it enters into the abdomen. After entering into the abdomen, it sees the urinary bladder. It takes a turn around the urinary bladder. It takes a loop around the urinary bladder. There, it will see the seminal vesicle duct. Seminal vesicle duct and the vas deferens will combine to make an ejaculatory duct. Take a screenshot if you want. Right. So this is a diagrammatic representation of male reproductive system. We will see it at the last. Now we are talking about vas deferens. So we were discussing that vas deferens, it combines with seminal vesicle duct. Both of them combine to make an ejaculatory duct. They combine to make an ejaculatory duct. Now the ejaculatory duct of one side, ejaculatory duct of the other side will combine to make a common ejaculatory duct. This ejaculatory duct of left, another ejaculatory duct of right, they combine to make a common ejaculatory duct. Now sperms are first stored in the epididymis. Sperms are also stored in this ejaculatory duct. This ejaculatory duct is a short tube which will further open into the urethra. This is the urinary bladder, right? Here is the urinary bladder. The tube which descends from the urinary bladder is called as urethra. What is this part called? This is called urethra. So now urethra is having 4 parts in it. Understood? Urethra is having 4 parts in it. The first part, which is descending through the urinary bladder, is called urinary urethra. So what is this first portion called? This first portion is called urinary urethra. This first portion is called urinary urethra. Now we are showing it on the top like this, but actually they will be beside. They will be beside, and this is one ejaculatory duct and this is the other ejaculatory duct. Now both the ejaculatory ducts have joined into the urethra. Both the ejaculatory ducts have joined into the urethra. Now here there is a gland. So we told here they are seminal vesicles, right? So these are seminal vesicles. So that is the first gland. And the second gland will be a chestnut shaped gland. What is it called? Prostate gland. It is called prostate gland. Now the urethra which runs, this prostate gland urethra will be little swelled up because in this portion only urinary urethra is also joining, ejaculatory duct is also joining. So that's why it will be swelled up. The first part of the urethra which is just below the urinary bladder, is called urinary urethra. In this urinary urethra, only urine will be there because it is the part from the urinary bladder. Whereas after that, if you see, ejaculatory ducts are coming and opening into the urethra, both the ejaculatory ducts, and they are opening into the prostatic part. So this part of the urethra which is within the prostate gland is called prostatic urethra. So this portion is called prostatic urethra. So this is the first axillary gland. This is the second axillary gland. Now from this, when it comes down, right? So here you will have Cowper's glands, bulbourethral glands. Now below the bulbourethral glands, again urethra comes. So this is not surrounded by any parts. It's just a membrane. So that's why we call this portion as membranous urethra. This portion is called membranous urethra. And this membranous urethra will descend down into the penis. So this is a penis. It will descend down into the penis. Now this portion which is running entirely through the penis, which is the longest part of the urethra, is called penile urethra. So what is the last portion called? It is called penile urethra. So now we are telling that the ejaculatory duct is opening into the urethra. The ejaculatory duct is opening into the urethra. The urethra has four parts. The first part of the urethra, which is just below the urinary bladder, is called urinary urethra. Then after urinary urethra carries only urine. Urinary urethra carries only urine, whereas prostatic urethra, membranous urethra, penile urethra, the urine and sperms both are carried by the same tubes. So that is why in males, excretory system and reproductive system are fused. So we call it as a urinogenital system. So male reproductive system is also called as urinogenital system, because there is a common passage. There is a common passage for urine also and for semen also. But the thing is, so both of them will never mix up with each other. Both of them don't pass through together. When urination is happening, insemination will not happen. When insemination, when the semen is coming, urination will not occur. They are under the control of the mind. Okay. So, but then they are coming through the same tube. We call it as urinogenital system. But the first portion of the urethra, which is only from the urinary bladder, it carries only urine. Now it opens into the prostate gland. Prostate gland is again an axillary gland. That portion of the urethra which is with the prostate gland is called prostatic urethra. And afterwards, bulbourethral glands will be there. These bulbourethral gland part also, urethra will be there. And below that, one portion of the urethra will not be covered by any structures, and that is called as membranous urethra. The last portion of the urethra, which is the longest portion, which runs through the penis, is called as penile urethra. Now, in all these three parts, prostatic urethra, membranous urethra, penile urethra, urine also will can come, semen also will come. Understood, children? Now, this urethra, which is a straight tube, the urethra, which is a straight tube, has two sphincters. Urethra, which is a straight tube, has two sphincters. One is internal sphincter. The other one is external sphincter. Now, internal sphincter will be at the neck of the urinary bladder. External sphincter will be at the tip of the penile urethra. Whereas internal sphincter, I am telling internal sphincter is at the neck of the urinary bladder. It is at the neck of urinary bladder. Okay, and it is not under our control, means it is involuntary. So it is involuntary in action. It is involuntary in action. Whereas external sphincter is at the membranous urethra. Where is it? It is at the membranous urethra. And this is our control. So it is voluntary in action. Now, when both the sphincters open, then only insemination can happen. Then only urination can happen. Understood? So, we discussed about the axillary ducts. And then now we need to talk about the penis, right? So we are telling that the urethra is running through the penis, which is a male copulatory organ. So if you want to take a screenshot, then we will talk about the penis. Right. Now, in the diagram we can see the penis, it is a long erectile tissue. It is a male copulatory organ which participates in copulation, right? And it has a long shaft, and the anterior portion is a sensitive portion, right? So if you talk about the penis, it is the male copulatory organ. It is erectile tissue. It is a copulatory organ, it is erectile tissue, it is a secondary sex organ. Now this penis, it is muscular. It has a long shaft. This body is called as long shaft, and then it has an expanded sensitive tip. It has a long shaft with an expanded anterior tip. Now this expanded anterior tip of penis is called as glans penis. What is that expanded portion called? It is called as, children, it is called as glans penis. And this glans penis is covered by a loose skin. The loose skin is called as prepuce. What is the loose skin called? Glans penis is covered by loose skin. What is that loose skin called? It is called prepuce. In some religions, so this the covering, the skin surrounding the glans penis will be removed off. Okay, in the young age itself they will remove off, so that they feel that like urine droplets and all will not be there, and it will be more hygienic. So removal of the prepuce is called as circumcision. So removal of skin. What is that skin called? Prepuce. What is this called? It is called circumcision. It is called circumcision. It is done in some religions, thinking that it is it will be hygienic. If you remove the skin, urine will not get trapped up. Okay. Then this is the penis. This penis is a male copulatory organ. It is muscular, and this penis is made up of 3 columns of muscles. The penis is made up of 3 columns of muscles. Now 2 muscles are dorsolateral. 2 muscles are dorsolateral, and the third muscle is mid-ventral. Now these 2 dorsolateral muscles are called as, what are they called? Corpora cavernosa. So these 2, 1 and 2. So in the penis, this is penis. In the penis there are 2 dorsolateral muscles. What are the dorsolateral muscles called? Corpora cavernosa. Whereas 1 is there, it is mid-ventral. It has 1 mid-ventral muscle. Now what is this called? Corpora spongiosum. In the corpora spongiosum only, penile urethra is there. In the corpora spongiosum only, penile urethra is there. At the time of erection, now these 3 spongy muscular columns will be filled, will be blushed with the blood, which helps in erection, which helps in insemination. So come on, tell me, what is penis? Penis is a male copulatory organ. It is a long structure. What is running through it? Penile urethra is running to it. Now it has a long body which is called a shaft. It has an expanded sensitive portion which is called glans penis. The glans penis is covered by a loose skin. What is that called? Prepuce. In some religions, the prepuce will be removed of what is the process called circumcision. Now, penis has 3 columns of muscular tissue. 2 are dorsolaterally located, which are called corpora cavernosa. 1 is midventrally located, corpora spongiosum. Through this corpora spongiosum only the penile urethra will run. And what are the functions of these 3 muscles? Means they help in erection, to make the penis stiff, which will help in releasing the semen, insemination. It helps in insemination. Now, the opening of the glans penis, it is called as urethral meatus. This opening, what is it called? Urethral meatus. So, during the time of insemination, it sends sperms. During the time of urination, urine will come out. Understood? So, we finished about penis. Now, we are left out with the accessory glands. Let us discuss about accessory glands also. If you need to take a screenshot, yeah, you can. Right. Now, we know that there are 3 accessory glands in the male reproductive system. Now, the first one is this one. What is it called? Seminal vesicle. And the second one below that, which is unpaired, which is chestnut shaped, is the prostatic gland. And below that, small bulb-like structures are called as prostatic, they are called as bulbourethral glands. So, what are the 3 accessory glands in the male reproductive system? The 3 accessory glands in the male reproductive system. The first one is seminal vesicle. Now, are they long? Yeah. Are they glandular? Does it secretes? Yeah. And are they sac-like? So, they are long, they are glandular, they are muscular, they are saccular, right? They are muscular. And are they paired structures? Yes, they are paired structures. They secrete 60 to 70% of the seminal plasma or the semen. Seminal vesicles contribute to 60 to 70% of the seminal plasma. Now, what does the secretions of the seminal plasma contain? The secretions of the seminal plasma contains prostaglandins, it contains fructose, it contains vitamin C with some minerals and enzymes. So, this is the composition of seminal vesicles, seminal plasma. It contains prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are a type of lipids. So, they help in activation of the sperm and they help in contraction of the vaginal wall so that the penis can perfectly fit inside. So, prostaglandins are a type of lipids. They help in activation of sperms. They also help in contraction of the vaginal walls. Contraction of vaginal walls. Now, fructose is a sugar present in the semen. It will help in nourishment of the sperms. It provides energy to the sperms. It helps in nourishment of sperms. Which one? Fructose. Fructose is not present in the female reproductive tract. Fructose is present only in semen. In rape test, to identify whether the girl is raped or not, first they check for the presence of sperm, then they check for the presence of fructose. If fructose is there in the female reproductive system, means copulation happened. With that they can identify, right? So, fructose helps in nourishment of sperm. And vitamin C provides the optimal conditions, or it provides the optimal pH. And minerals are also helping in the process, and enzymes are also present. So, this is a composition of seminal vesicle, seminal fluid. So, here are the seminal vesicles. Below the seminal vesicles, we have another gland. What is that called? Prostate gland. Now, this prostate gland is single. It is chestnut shaped gland. The remaining 60 to 70% is by this. The remaining 20 to 30% of the seminal plasma is secreted by this gland. The remaining 20 to 30% of the seminal plasma is secreted by the prostate gland, and prostate gland secretions mainly contain bicarbonates. Prostate gland secretions, what do they contain mainly? Bicarbonates they contain. They also contain ascorbic acid and some minerals. Now, what will the bicarbonate do? Vaginal secretion, the female reproductive system, the vagina has acidic environment. It has lactic acid there. The sperm, if it goes into the acid, the sperm will die. So, this bicarbonate ion neutralizes the vaginal acidic environment. It helps the sperm to be active. So, bicarbonates, what it will do? It neutralizes the lactic acid in vagina and it keeps the sperms alive. It keeps the sperms alive. Now, talking about it is single, it is chestnut shaped gland, it's called prostatic gland. Now, what is the third one? These bulb-like structures, they are called bulbourethral glands, they are also called Cowper's glands. The third one are called as Cowper's glands. They are small, they are paired, they are below the prostate gland, and they are also called bulbourethral glands. And the main function of the Cowper's gland is to secrete a lubricant which helps in lubricating the penis into the vaginal tract. So, Cowper's gland secrete lubricant. This lubricant, it lubricates the path so that the penis can easily pass into the vagina. So, we discussed about axillary glands. We also discussed about axillary ducts. We also discussed about the external genitalia penis, right? And we have seen their functions, their length and all. After this part, which part will come? Now, coming to semen. What is semen? Is the fluid which is released at the time of insemination. Now, how much amount of semen will be released per copulation? 3 to 4 ml of semen will be released per copulation. This 3 to 4 ml of semen contains how many million sperms? You know, if it is a healthy man, 200 to 300 millions of sperms are present in the semen. And if you see the pH, you know what is the pH of the semen? The pH of the semen is 7.3 to 7.5. It is slightly alkaline. The pH of the semen is 7.3 to 7.5. It is slightly alkaline, and the semen, it is a white fluid. It is a white fluid. So, semen contains seminal plasma also with the sperms. Now, sperms are released by seminiferous tubules. Seminal plasma is secreted by seminal vesicles also, prostate gland also, and Cowper's glands also. All together is called semen. The release of the semen into the female reproductive system is called insemination. How much amount of semen will be released? 3 to 4 ml. How many million sperms will be there if the person is healthy and normal, fertile? 200 to 300 million sperms will be there. What is the pH of the semen? Slightly alkaline, 7.3 to 7.5. And what is the color of the semen? It is white colored fluid, viscous fluid. Now, I think we discussed about the male reproductive system in this class. In the next class, we will talk about the process of spermatogenesis. So, I'm going little detail. I'm teaching and I'm writing on the board. So, if there are any comments, kindly post them in the comment box so that I can understand. So, what are your requirements? Understood? So, I'm waiting for your comments. If you like, so you can give a thumb symbol. Any comments, you can just post your comments also. If you like the lectures, subscribe to my channel for sure. Thank you.